Update. Am I the a-hole for telling my fiancé that my little brother is more important than him and our upcoming wedding? Original post. I'm 30 female, and I'm currently 2 months pregnant with my first child and engaged to my fiancé of 3 years, James, 31. For a little background, when I was 15, my parents had my baby brother, and 5 years later, while I was 20 and Matt was 5, my parents and Matt were driving home when they got into an accident, resulting in my parents' deaths. After the accident, I was completely destroyed and devastated, but I had to pull myself together to be there for my brother. The following month, I buried my parents, and with the help of my aunt and uncle, I applied for guardianship of my brother. It took about 7 months before I was approved. I had to get a stable job/income, which I did, and proper housing for me and my brother, which I achieved by using money from my inheritance to buy a house and other necessary things. In the end, I was granted guardianship of my brother. It was hard at first, working while looking after my brother. It's easier now, but there are still ups and downs. Regardless, I would do it all over again for him. I met my fiancé when I was 27 at a gathering and we just clicked. After 3 months of dating, he proposed. At first I said no, because I still had my brother to take care of. But after thinking about it, I said yes, and we agreed to wait until we were financially stable. At the beginning of this year, we decided to tie the knot since I was pregnant because I didn't want my baby to be born out of wedlock. We started the preparations, and the wedding was scheduled for October. But after what happened last Saturday night, it looks like there isn't going to be a wedding. There was many issues where we fought and then resolved things. For example, the wedding date. James wanted it on my brother's birthday. I had a problem with that because I wanted to throw my brother a big party since he was turning 15. I offered a week after, which led to an argument, and he even ran to his mother to try to convince me. But I stood my ground, stating that my brother's birthday is more important to both me and him. There was a little more fighting, but we eventually came to a solution. Then there was the roles I wanted my brother to play in my wedding. At first, I suggested my brother to be his best man, but James said he wanted his best friend. I said okay. Then I suggested my brother be the ring bearer, carrying the rings on a little pillow and bringing them up to us. But James said he wanted his nephew for that role. I said okay and left it. Saturday morning, I was watching a TikTok video where a bride asked her male best friend to be her man of honor, and I thought it was sweet. So I decided to bring it up with James. When he came home, I was in the kitchen while my brother was at his sleepover at his friend's house. As he entered and sat down, I said I had a perfect role for Matt. Him, what's that? Me, I thought he could be my man of honor, and then both wedding parties could come out as singles instead of in pairs. Him, what? Me, man of honor, or I'll call it my brother of honor. It would be lovely. Him, but I thought you wanted my sister to be your maid of honor, so that can't work. Me, I never agreed to this. And what about my brother? I want him to play some role in my wedding. Him, I was thinking he could be a guest and sit in the rows. I was completely shocked. I wanted my brother to be in my wedding, not just some sidelined guest. I didn't know what to say. He wanted to put my brother on the sidelines, while his whole family played some part in the wedding. Most of my bridesmaids were his cousins. Only 2 were close friends, but this he couldn't grant me? I stopped what I was doing and told him no. It was my wedding too, and I wanted my brother to be my man of honor. He started saying his sister was better, and that my brother would be a guest, and he didn't want children in the wedding party. I completely lost it, and we started arguing from one thing to the next. Since Saturday, he hasn't come home, only sending his brother to pick up some of his stuff. Meanwhile, his mother and sister have been blowing up my phone, saying I'm selfish, and asking, so what if my brother is just a guest? The last time they called was Wednesday night, and I went crazy on both of them, using language I'm not proud of. I ended the call with, yes, my brother is more important than him in this wedding. If it's happening, I will never put him ahead of Matt, so I'm freaking sorry. Tell James to contact me to talk things out. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not the a-hole. I was going to suggest your brother walk you down the aisle, but then I kept reading. This is just filled with red flags. I'm gonna bypass the whole fact that your fiancé has filled every wedding role with his family members. And out of 365 days in the year, he wanted the wedding to be on your brother's birthday? And put money on your fiancé pushing for your brother to leave the house after the wedding. So that it's just your family. Him, you, and the baby. Call off the wedding. I got those same vibes. It's max of him getting her pregnant, married, and locked down. Then he can push the brother away. He's been jealous of her brother this whole time and just playing the long game. When someone shows you their true colors, listen to them the first time. This man is showing you red flags here. He seems to resent your brother's part in your life. The fact that you put your brother's well-being over your fiancé's is nothing but a good thing in my opinion. You are a good sister, and you have your brother's back. Your fiancé is showing flagrant disrespect. I'd bet dollars to donuts that he's trying to edge your brother out of your life. So that's when Matt turns 18, your fiancé, by then your husband, would be at the point where he's a man now, he can take care of himself, and it'd push him out the front door. I feel like if I were you, at the very least, I would be reevaluating the relationship. Try talking to him and asking point blank what his problem with Matt is. If he won't answer, then you have your answer. It's because he's a controlling a-hole. Yeah, and added to the red flag of proposing after only 3 months? What is that? She has a house. She's working. He can move in and be the man of the house. Except for that pesky kid. Now for the first update. Hello everyone. I'm very sorry I didn't update sooner due to being busy with work, canceling every wedding preparation I made, and preparing Matt for sports camp. I would like everyone to know that I will not be marrying James, and we broke up. On Friday, the week after posting my original post, I got a message from James asking to meet and talk, which I only agreed to if I could pick the day we met, which he agreed to. After picking a day which was Sunday, when I knew that Matt wouldn't be home all day, I notified James, and he came around midday with his mother. I was shocked when I opened the door and let them in. As they sat in my living room, not saying a word for a few seconds, it made the moment even more awkward. Then James stated that he was sorry for leaving and staying away because he needed to think. Then his mother started condemning me, saying that I wasn't acting like a future wife and that I should put my future husband's thoughts into consideration, along with a lot of other comments. OP, I'm disappointed in you. You're getting married, and you need to stop acting like this toward your future husband, she said to me. I scoffed upon hearing that, then turned to James, asking what his problem was with my brother. It turned out it had more to do with me showing attention to my brother rather than him. He sat there silently for a while and then stated that he wanted a life with me and our unborn child, but not with Matt. I felt utter disgust for him at that moment, as he continued to say that after the wedding and having the baby, he thought he would convince me that raising both a baby and a teenager would be hard on us, and it would be best for me to send Matt to live with my uncle and aunt. However, he would allow me to still support Matt financially. I was completely shocked, and before I could say anything else, I told him, sorry, but no, it isn't happening, and my brother isn't going anywhere. I stood up, took off the ring, handed it back to him, and told him it was over. After saying that, both he and his mother got up, arguing, you didn't have to do that, and you will regret this. He started to cry, asking me to think about what I was saying. I just walked over the door, opened it, and gestured for them to leave. A few minutes passed before they finally walked through the door, with James crying and pleading while his mother called me some nasty names. Later that evening, his sister and mother blew up on my phone, cussing me out. I only told them to let James come for his remaining stuff. There are a few things I would like to respond to. 1. I saw many ask why I didn't choose Matt to walk me down the aisle. I gave my uncle, my father's older brother, the role, because after the whole funeral, he was there helping me acquire guardianship and just being there over the years for both me and Matt. 2. Many of you advised me to abort so I wouldn't have any ties to James. But I had to think about it, and I won't be terminating the pregnancy. I will carry the baby to full term. 3. As many of you suggested, I sat down and talked to my brother to see if James ever mistreated him when I wasn't around. Matt said no, that James mostly ignored him and he did the same. I also told him the wedding was off. Oh dude, he's 31, and he told his mommy on you. Bullet dodged. OP, my only advice would be to save any threatening or disturbing messages from him and his family. That information can only help with custody issues or a restraining order. I would be especially careful about messages from the mom and sister. They sound like the kind of people who might be bad influences on your baby and try to emotionally manipulate the child. You did dodge a huge bullet. I would also recommend getting a custody agreement through the court and using a third-party app for co-parenting. Also, be clear that his family shouldn't contact you again. You've absolutely done the right thing when it comes to protecting Matt. But my question now is, what are you going to do about the baby since you are carrying to term? Are you going to give the baby up for adoption? Are you going to try and co-parent with James and his crazy family? He clearly can't keep them out of his business. Thank you, but it's a no for adoption. And if James doesn't step up, I've already raised a child alone and I could do it again. The problem isn't going to be whether James steps up or not. He'll fight for custody because of his mother. Once he has some custody, your kid is going to spend 100% of James's custody time with his harpy mother, who will feed it a whole lot of lies about you. This is going to be very, very, very hard for you to avoid, because if he fights for custody, even different state custody, he will almost definitely get it. And once the kid is in his custody, he will let his mother do whatever she wants. If it takes the kid out of state every summer, you have a very real problem on your hands about what they're going to tell your child for 2 solid months. I'm not telling you what to do regarding the pregnancy, but you are signing up for decades of misery dealing with these people, and they very well might succeed in turning your own kid against you. Imagine your 10-year-old coming home after 2 months of being raised by your not mother-in-law and crying, "I don't get to have 2 parents because you love your brother more than me or daddy." Because that will happen. I honestly get where you're coming from, but I'm prepared to fight tooth and nail for full custody. I'm taking screenshots of the messages his mother and sister are sending me, and I'm planning to seek out a lawyer to begin the process. Thank you for your concern. Second update. Hello everyone. First and foremost, Happy New Year. It has been a while since my last update, but I'm back to provide some updates. I want everyone to know that I gave birth to a beautiful baby boy, whom I named after my father. Things have been going well between me and the baby, and Matt is excited to have the baby around. My uncle and aunt were present during my labor and delivery. The day after my son was born, James and his parents visited the hospital. However, I only allowed James to see our son. According to my aunt, James's mother attempted to make a scene, but was quickly silenced by my uncle, who threatened her with police action. My aunt and uncle moved in after my discharge and will stay with me until June. That isn't the only update I want to provide. Last Friday, James came over to see the baby after asking to talk. He asked if there was ever a chance for us to get back together, to which I immediately said no. I told him that the day I returned a ring was the last time we had a romantic relationship, and all I want from him is a co-parenting relationship. It took 10 minutes before he reacted, but he agreed and left. So, I'm currently scheduling meetings with lawyers to set up a suitable co-parenting schedule. I hope he agrees, but aside from that, I'm looking forward to raising and providing for both my baby and Matt so they may have the best life possible. I'll keep everyone posted on any updates. Thank you all for your comments and support. Congratulations on your precious little one. My unsolicited advice to new parents: rest when you can. Don't hesitate to be a mama bear if someone crosses your boundaries. Be present in the moment, but also take lots and lots of pictures. It goes by way too fast. You blink, and the little one will be rolling over and crawling. Say I love you often, take things one step at a time, and don't overwhelm yourself. But most of all, just enjoy that little baby with everything inside you. This is the only response he allowed you. He was railroading you over the wedding, and was prepared to railroad you into getting rid of Matt. You were marrying his mother and sister, in reality, and he was just a cipher for their wishes. But this isn't your fault. It only became apparent when push came to shove, and legal ties were being made that would have solidified the state of the relationship between you. Bullet dodged. Last story. Am I the a-hole for kicking my sister out of my baby shower because she called me old and selfish? My sister, female 31, and I, female 34, married around the same time 7 years ago. She decided to have kids right away. My husband, male 35, and I decided to buy a house first, do a little traveling, and have enough savings before having kids. My sister now has 4 kids. I'm currently pregnant with our baby. I have been dealing with hyperemesis gravidarum, HG, and it's been brutal. Luckily, my mother-in-law and my husband have been amazing to me, and my boss allowed me to work from home until I give birth. My mom can't help me much because she helps out with my sister's 4 kids a lot. Yesterday was my baby shower, which my sister-in-law threw for me. People kept asking about how I was doing, and I was talking about how HG is horrible. My sister decided to interrupt me and said, "Honestly, this is what happens when you get pregnant when you are old. I have had 4 pregnancies and never had these issues. I guess you should have thought about this before all those trips and the 'we are not ready yet' BS. Some of us made sacrifices in our 20s. I got furious. This wasn't the first time she commented about my life, so I told her to get the heck out. She grabbed my nieces and left. My mom said I was being hormonal and should have just ignored her. She thinks my sister said that because she became a mom earlier than me and never enjoyed her life or even any alone time with her husband. My husband thinks I had every right to be upset because she was basically saying I deserve HG. Do I owe my sister an apology for kicking her out? Now for the comments. Nope, not the a-hole. Sister is clearly just jealous and can't handle it. Glad you have great in-laws to support you while you deal with a garbage sister and a mom who can't support you. Yeah, I can't imagine being a mom with a daughter having significant health issues during her pregnancy and not jumping in to support her. Both mom and sister suck. She's enabling her sister. She's probably always been entitled to. Totally agree with this. Please keep them both away from you for the rest of your pregnancy, at least a few months after you give birth. You deserve to enjoy every moment, and they will take any chance to ruin your joy. You're only 34. She's an a-hole. She constantly says she made a sacrifice so they can be done having babies by the time she was 30. Yeah, that's her problem. I had a kid at 42. Honestly, it worked better for my husband and me to have a child later in life. We built a good relationship, traveled, became more financially stable, and could manage our emotions better. It made us better parents. Everyone has their own timeline. Your sister is just bitter because you chose differently, not the a-hole. Yep, had my kids at 38 and 40. I just knew I didn't want my mother's regrets. I wanted to know my marriage was solid, we were financially stable, and I had experienced the things I wanted to. I was so ready for kids when I had them. I never felt like I sacrificed myself. Pregnancy issues can happen to anyone at any age.